It's 9.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The best ideas are free with Ben Young from Bwaggy.com.
Joining us, yes, bwagy.com, also on Twitter as well. Mr. Ben Young back with some fresh ideas on this Monday. G'day there, Ben.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Today we're talking about not every dollar being equal.
Yeah, not all dollars being created equal. Bit of advice that my dad gave me when I got started out kind of in my own business was consistent income is worth double in inconsistent income. So if someone earns 50 grand consistently, like they get paid every week,
Yep.
and someone earns 100 grand, but it's inconsistent, they might get a big lump sum payment every 3 months or something like that, but it's not regular.
Yeah.
He was saying like the consistency and of the cash flow of the 50 grand income is worth the same as 100 grand income.
Okay.
And the reason for this is something that I've learned over time is that not all dollars are created equal. For example, if you take anyone's income, the first few $100 you really have to go on living.
Yep.
You can't really change that.
Rent, food, power, bills, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Exactly. Food, electricity, petrol, insurance, running the car. You know, there are tons of maintenance fees for us to achieve the lifestyle we have. So if you assume someone has an income of, let's say, $700 a week, which perfectly matches their lifestyle, that first $700 is worth so much more than the next $700, because that $700 covers the crucial things, right? You can't really do without a house. You can't really do without food, water, power, electricity.
Yeah. Internets.
Yeah, internet. That should be at the top of it. But the next $700 you can kind of do without. So the two values of those $700 are completely different, right? One is crucial and one is
Of what's
not
being
as valuable.
valued by the individual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it all depends on an individual's perception, whereas if you took that $700 and gave it to someone who only needs $350 a week to live off, well, then they're way ahead.
Yeah.
But so the idea is that the first $700 is worth extremely much more than the last $700. And when you start looking at dollars that they're not all created equal and they're not all worth the same, you start having a look at how you can save money or how you can earn money. And I was just talking about a friend of mine was really trying to save for a house deposit, and they're on a fixed income. They love their job, they're really passionate about it. Unfortunately, it's not a job the state pays for very well.
Yeah.
But so they're not in a situation to be changing jobs or trying to trade up and get a promotion. So what they were doing is they were trying to cut corners wherever they could, and they managed to cut, I think, about $120 a week, which is probably natural. They just drunk a little bit less socialising, walking instead of taxiing, that kind of stuff.
Which is, which is smart, and and people are often told, if you want to save, cut down on things, that's what you do.
So those are the easy wins. The first 125 is extremely easy to do.
Yeah.
But the next 125 is really, really hard, because suddenly you're doing things like, instead of buying enough meat for the week, I'm going to eat vegetarian a couple of nights a week. Or instead of some healthy snacks, I might be getting 2-minute noodles or, other like chips or other products. And the idea is that once you take the penny pinching too far, it actually negatively impacts on your life.
Yeah.
Because if you're not eating healthy, you're not socialising enough, it actually impacts on you on an emotional level.
Yeah.
You're not as happy. So then you're not doing your job as well, which means you miss out on promotions and other things.
Right. So the flow-on effects.
Yeah, there's definitely a flow-on effect. So what I want to do is swap that around, and instead of people looking at how they can save $10 once they're at that point, how can they earn an extra $10? Because it's kind of that, it's almost optimistic versus pessimistic. Once you get to that point, every dollar you're looking at saving is out of a fixed income. Whereas if you look at an optimistic way, how can I increase my income by $100 a week?
So when you come across a goal, whether it be something physical or a holiday or something like that, to actually, rather than say I'm going to save, say I'm going to earn extra to put towards that.
Just to flip the funnel a bit, and I think people will be surprised at how easy it is to earn. Let's start off with, say, $40 a week. If you save that extra $40 a week, that's $2,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's 10 grand before compounding interest. And there are tons of little things you could do. Like I was thinking about a friend of mine who's just become a parent, and they were talking about they'd have to start doing the school run in 5 years. And I was like, you could do the school run, and then you could take other kids on a consistent basis and just get people to chip in for fuel, which saves you fuel costs. Bringing in lunches for other people at work. Just doing selling, making some craft, like some craft work and selling that, or turning some of your hobbies into money.
Yeah.
And just doing these kind of things so you earn an extra $50 a week, which you then can put towards saving. And the beauty of it, looking at it that way, is often the time that you spend trying to earn that $50 is much more enjoyable than the time you spend trying to save the $50, missing out on the social event or eating 2-minute noodles.
It's a really good point. Although there's one sort of human nature pitfall though, in that we tend to match the income that's coming in, don't we, with our outgoings.
Yes, that is true in the long term. However, if you also match that against income growth, the certain costs taper off. There's only so much you can spend on socialising. There's only so much you can spend.
Well, you'd hope.
Yeah. So those effects taper off as your income increases. So you definitely have to match that. And the difference is once you follow that journey and you look at it 6-12 months down the track, things really start to change. Like you might figure out a way to make $250 extra a week or $500 a week. And it's more the flow-on effects. And just the same way that looking at it pessimistically, you have the flow-on effects. If you look at it optimistically, the flow-on effects from that can be much bigger. You might find that you get promotions quicker, or you come up with a little idea that makes you, say, $2,000 a month or something. Yeah. And that means you can take an extra good holiday this year.
Oh, some really good points there about not every dollar being equal. Yeah, that's a great thought at the beginning of the week. Thanks very much, Ben.
Okay, cheers.
We'll talk to you next week. Ben Young is at bwaggy.com, bwaggy.com, and also on Twitter as well under that.